Several financial institutions are all of a sudden, without any warning, not issuing certain tax forms this year that they used to generate and provide in the past. What forms are these? What do you need to do instead? I've got that and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Make sure you go out and get your tax forms. Guys, we are in the middle of tax season, and one of the trends that we're seeing is a lot of people are saying, oh, I never got this tax form. I never got this tax form. More on that in just a second. But a lot of the times, not all the time, a lot of the times, the tax form was issued, but you didn't get it in the mail. You actually have to go online, log into your institution, and download the tax form. It seems like this is a bigger issue this year than it has been in the past, so just sort of public service announcement, make sure you don't overlook or miss a tax document that is needed. Go out and get it online. If it was supposed to come in the mail, you don't see it, go find it. Well, that's the emphasis, or the point, the crux of this video. We've had a lot of clients, a lot of people reaching out saying, hey, I never got this tax form. I never got this tax form from my investment company, from my financial institution. What's going on? Can you get it? Did I miss it? Do I still need it? Well, if you have an IRA or a Roth IRA, or maybe a SEP IRA, something like that, any of those forms, IRA, Roth IRA, you might be familiar with a tax form called a 5498. It's 5498 is a tax form that is sent to you, but is also sent to the IRS, just sort of truing up any activity or highlights related to your IRA, your Roth IRA, your SEP IRA, those sorts of accounts. And shares, you get a copy, IRS gets a copy. And previously, these were issued just like any other tax document, tax form, where you would have received a copy by the end of January. Well, the unique thing with 5498s, and really the unique thing with IRAs, Roth IRAs, is you have up until April 15, up until your tax filing deadline, to make a contribution to an IRA or Roth IRA for the previous year. So what would typically happen is these 5498s just showing, hey, here's, you've got an IRA, here's the balance of your IRA, here's any contributions that you made, here's any rollovers that you made, those sorts of things. And then, by the way, if you're past your required beginning date, here's your required minimum distribution that you need to take for this upcoming year. All of that information on that 5498. So you would typically get one by the end of January showing any details that existed between January 1 and December 31st. But then, if you happen to make a contribution to your IRA between January 1, or Roth IRA, between January 1 and April 15 for the previous year, then you'd get another 5498 sometime in May. And it was typical, people would reach out and say, hey, I just got this tax form. I did my taxes months ago. Is something wrong? Do I need to do anything with this? No, it's more of just sort of a notice filing. There isn't any action that you need to take. Well, I get it. If I'm a financial institution, if I'm Fidelity, that's a lot to mail, and that's kind of cumbersome, right? To send a tax document that really doesn't have a lot of information on it by the end of January, and then go ahead and send it again to a lot of people out in May when they don't even need to do anything with it. So a lot of institutions have changed their policy this year. They're not even creating these 5498s. So they're not sending them, one, and if you go and log in to your account and are looking for your 5498, oftentimes it's not there. In fact, what we're hearing from many financial institutions, I'm not going to name any here, but a lot of them are saying, listen, if there wasn't any activity for last year, we're not even going to send you one. We're not even going to create a 5498. I wonder if we'll hear more about this later on after tax season, later this year, because there's been a lot of questions coming to us about this. I'm assuming a lot of questions, nationwide about this. These institutions haven't announced, hey, we're not going to create this tax form anymore. I don't believe there's been any correspondence coming out from the IRS, although I could have missed it. But all of a sudden, these tax forms that are stating your account value, any contributions, any rollovers, what your RMD is, they're just not creating them. And this on top of what I said earlier, where a lot of people are sort of missing tax documents or going searching for them, it can create a big question. So if this is you, no, you haven't gone crazy. You just need to check, did my financial institution create this tax form? If they did, go get it. Make sure it's part of your return. If they didn't generate it, doesn't mean you've done something wrong. It's just your institution just didn't generate it this year. But that means something else very, very, very important. It's on you. It's on you to communicate with your tax preparer or with yourself if you're self-preparing. Well, make sure that you capture what your contributions were to your Roth IRA or your IRA. I fear that many people, and I know you might say, there's no way this would happen. Yes, this would happen for a lot of people. You make a Roth IRA contribution, but you don't get a tax form for it. So therefore, you just forget to note that on your return. And you might say, well, Roth IRA contribution, not that important because I'm not getting the tax benefit on my tax return anyway. I know, but you might need to file a tax form or track your basis on an 8606, something like that. If you make a traditional IRA contribution, you're definitely going to want to track your basis on 8606. Sorry for the jargon. If it's an after-tax contribution. If it's a pre-tax contribution, you're going to need to make sure you deduct it. Any rollover amounts, if you get a 1099 showing that a withdrawal was made from your IRA, but you actually made a corresponding deposit in another IRA, i.e. 60-day rollover, you're not going to have a 5498 showing that potentially, but you'll have the 1099 showing the income. So that gets super messy. You're going to have to track this yourself. Any Roth conversions, you might see that you've got the tax form, the 1099, but you might not have the corresponding contribution in, so that might not be noted correctly. And if you're using your 5498s to track what your RMD is without the 5498, you now need to calculate your own required minimum distribution. So really what this means, the fact that there aren't as many or many institutions are not creating 5498s, it means more responsibility on your shoulders to track these things and make sure that you've got an accurate tax return. This is yet another example of why we're just going to continue to preach that your certified financial planner needs to be collaborating with your tax professional. Tax planning, not tax prep, tax planning is one of the 6 areas of your financial life. And that creativity, that planning of, yes, let's do a Roth conversion, or make sure you're making your Roth IRA contributions or your after-tax IRA contributions and doing backdoor, like calculating your required minimum distribution. That's all the creative stuff. That's the planning work. And therefore connecting that planning work with the individuals that are actually the professionals actually doing the tax preparation, they can make sure that things don't slip through the cracks. And this is one of them. Now more things could slip through the cracks because this tax form isn't being created. Therefore, your financial planner working with or collaborating with your tax professional to get your return prepared can make sure that these things get captured on your return and that you file an accurate return, keeping track and monitoring all the planning opportunities available to you. So work with your certified financial planner on that. Don't panic if you don't see a 5498. Work with your CFP, make sure it's all still reflected on your return the way it's supposed to be. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well. Or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.